A girl's best friend pretends to flirt with her boyfriend to test his loyalty. Jealousy turns everything real. Ivy Bennett, a 24-year-old college grad with chestnut brown skin, curly black hair, and bright amber eyes, felt like her world was finally stable. Her boyfriend, Chase Williams, 26, was everything she ever dreamed of. Tall, muscular, with golden brown skin, deep dimples, and soulful dark eyes. They had been dating for 2 years, and Ivy believed she had found the one. But lately, Chase had become distant. He'd laugh at his phone when she wasn't looking. He seemed overly friendly with girls at the cafe where he worked. And he barely said "I love you" anymore. Ivy's confidence started to shake. Late one night, curled up in bed with Sierra Daniels, her 25-year-old best friend since high school, a dazzlingly attractive woman with caramel skin, long sleek black hair, and full lips that always seemed to hold a secret, an idea surfaced. Ivy whispered, "What if you flirted with him, just to see if he'd bite?" Sierra blinked. "You want me to test Chase?" Ivy nodded slowly, her voice trembling. "I just need to know if I'm being paranoid or if I'm being played." Sierra hesitated. "You really want me to flirt with your boyfriend? That's wild." Ivy nodded again, her fingers tightening around the mug in her hands. "Just casual flirting. Compliment his cologne. Touch his arm once. That's it." Sierra sighed, brushing her glossy hair behind her ear. "Okay, but only because I love you." The pact was made. The next day, Ivy waited outside the cafe where Chase worked. From her parked car, she could see everything. She watched as Sierra walked in, wearing tight jeans, a plunging red top, and heels that clicked like gunfire on the pavement. Ivy's heart thumped in her chest. Inside, Sierra approached Chase at the counter with an easy smile. Chase blinked in surprise but quickly smiled back. They laughed. Sierra touched his arm. Ivy's throat tightened. What she didn't expect, what she couldn't have seen, was that Chase's eyes lingered on Sierra's face a little too long, and that Sierra's smile wasn't entirely fake. Later that night, Ivy confronted Sierra in her apartment. "You did it." Sierra leaned against the counter, biting her lip. "Yep." He flirted back, Ivy. "Nothing crazy." But it wasn't just polite. Ivy's stomach sank. She messaged Chase. "How was your day?" He replied. "Busy, same old." Nothing about the flirtation, not a hint. Sierra noticed the hurt in Ivy's face. "He didn't mention me, huh?" "No." Sierra walked over, placing a soft hand on Ivy's shoulder. "Maybe he's just flirty by nature. Doesn't mean he'll cheat." But Ivy's mind spiraled. What if Chase really was slipping away? What if she'd handed her best friend a key she could never take back? And what she didn't realize was that Sierra was already thinking about how Chase smelled, how his voice dropped when he said her name, and how it made her feel in ways she hadn't expected. The next day, Sierra dropped by the cafe again, this time unprompted. She told Ivy it was just to confirm he wasn't a one-time flirt. But Sierra's heart beat a little faster this time. Chase grinned when he saw her. "Hey, back so soon?" They talked about music, about travel. Chase leaned in when she spoke, his eyes locked on hers. When he reached for her hand to compare their rings, a shock ran up her spine. Outside, Ivy had followed Sierra. She wasn't supposed to, but she needed to know. She saw them laughing again. She saw the hand touch, and she saw something far worse. Sierra wasn't acting anymore. Ivy backed away, heartbreaking, mind racing. This was more than a test now. This was betrayal waiting to bloom. That night, Ivy confronted Sierra again. Her voice trembled. "You like him, don't you?" Sierra froze. "What are you talking about? I saw you. You weren't acting." "I know you, Sierra." Sierra turned away, guilt blooming on her flawless face. "I didn't mean for this to happen. I was doing it for you, but Chase is different. He listens. He sees me." Ivy felt like the air had been sucked from her lungs. "You're my best friend." "I know," Sierra whispered. "And I'm sorry." Ivy walked out of the room, her heart splintering with every step. She had set a trap for Chase, but she had never expected it would catch Sierra too. And the worst part, she didn't know who she was more angry with. Ivy didn't sleep that night. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw Sierra's face, guilty, beautiful, and confused. By morning, she was already outside Chase's apartment. He opened the door, shirtless, yawning. "Ivy, what's wrong?" She walked in without answering. "I need you to be honest. Did Sierra come to see you again yesterday?" Chase blinked, clearly caught off guard. "Yeah. She said she wanted to ask about your birthday plans." "Why? That's not why she came," Ivy said sharply. "I sent her the first time. To test you. To see if you'd flirt back." The blood drained from Chase's face. "Wait, what?" "I saw you yesterday." "You were laughing." Leaning in, holding her hand, Chase stepped back, stunned. "You were spying on me, and you were flirting with my best friend," Ivy shot back. "Don't you dare flip this." Chase ran a hand through his hair. "I didn't know it was a game. Sierra came in like it was normal, like you knew." "Yeah, I was friendly. Maybe too friendly. But I thought it was just her being her." "Then why didn't you tell me she came again?" He was silent. That silence spoke louder than anything else. Ivy stormed out of Chase's apartment, her heart thudding with betrayal. But it wasn't just Chase, it was Sierra, the one person who knew her fears, her insecurities, and had promised to protect them. She returned home and began gathering everything: photos, letters, matching necklaces, all the fragments of a friendship that had once been unshakable. By noon, Sierra showed up at the door, eyes red. "I didn't sleep," she whispered. Ivy opened the door just enough to speak. "Then we're even." Sierra stepped forward. "Please, I didn't mean to hurt you. I didn't plan this, but you have to admit things between you and Chase have been weird." "You're blaming me now." "No, I'm just saying. Maybe this test was about more than just him. Maybe you already knew something was broken." Ivy's voice cracked. "Even if that were true, you were supposed to be my friend first." I'm just confused." Ivy shook her head. "Well, I'm not. I know exactly who I can't trust now." She closed the door slowly. It didn't slam, but it might as well have. Sierra sat in her car, motionless. Her hands trembled on the steering wheel. She hadn't planned to feel anything. She didn't even like Chase when Ivy first introduced him. But now, every smile he gave her, every glance felt electrifying. She wasn't proud of it. Back at home, she stared at her phone for hours, rereading the last message from Chase. It was a simple, "Hey, you okay?" sent at 2 a.m. She hadn't responded, she couldn't. But now, with Ivy shutting her out completely and Chase still within reach, the temptation clawed deeper. She typed, "Can we talk?" and hit send. Chase replied instantly, "Sure, come over." It was dangerous, it was wrong, but it felt like the only thing left that made sense. Sierra didn't bother with makeup or excuses. She drove through the city, every red light echoing like a warning. And yet she kept going. When Chase opened the door, the silence between them was louder than any greeting. He stepped aside and she walked in. Neither of them said a word for a long time, but words weren't needed anymore. Inside Chase's apartment, Sierra sat stiffly on the edge of the couch. Chase stood at the kitchen island, his fingers fidgeting with a coffee mug that had long gone cold. "You really didn't know she sent me?" Sierra asked, her voice soft. Chase shook his head. "Not the first time. I thought you were just being you." "I mean, you've always had that energy," Sierra swallowed. "And the second time," Chase exhaled slowly. "I knew something was off, but I didn't want to stop it. I kept telling myself it was harmless. But it wasn't," she nodded, the tension settling like a storm cloud. "Ivy hates me now," Sierra whispered. "Maybe forever." "She might hate me too," Chase muttered. Then in the space between pain and guilt, their eyes locked, and something unspoken moved between them. Regret, longing, desire. Sierra looked away, but Chase reached out and gently took her hand. It lingered. A choice was made in that moment, not out of love but out of loneliness, confusion, and hurt, and once it was made, it couldn't be undone. 3 days passed, 3 silent, cold, tortuous days where Ivy heard nothing from either of them. No apologies, no explanations. Her mind became a battleground of what-ifs. What if she'd never tested him? What if she hadn't let Sierra go through with it? What if they'd been honest from the beginning? Then, a photo popped up on her phone, sent anonymously. It was Sierra, sitting on Chase's couch, wearing his hoodie. Ivy's heart shattered. She stared at the image for minutes that felt like hours. Her legs gave out beneath her and she dropped to the floor, sobbing uncontrollably. Her test had turned into a nightmare. Not only had she lost her boyfriend, she'd lost her best friend. And now she had proof that the betrayal wasn't just emotional. It was real, physical, intimate. Her trust had been torched, her heart gutted. But deep inside, something darker awoke. If they thought the story ended with her crying on the floor, they were wrong. They had played their parts. Now it was her turn. Ivy didn't cry again after that day. Her tears dried into steel, her heartbreak into resolve. If Sierra and Chase wanted to betray her, then they would have to live with what came next. She didn't want revenge, not exactly. She wanted truth, public, undeniable truth. She began gathering evidence, screenshots, messages, timestamps, that photo of Sierra in Chase's hoodie. She documented everything. Ivy wasn't impulsive anymore. She was precise. That weekend she threw a party, one she knew neither of them could resist. She texted Sierra first, trying to move on, hosting something low-key. "Come if you want," then Chase. "No hard feelings, you're invited too." Both replied yes. They thought she was healing, they didn't know she was waiting. Ivy transformed her apartment into a warm, forgiving space. Candles glowed, music played softly. She wore a deep green satin dress, elegant yet cold. Everyone showed up. Friends, co-workers, even Sierra in a shy black jumpsuit, and Chase in his usual charming smile. They didn't arrive together, but Ivy could see the glances they shared, the way Sierra kept tugging at her sleeves, the way Chase looked anywhere but at Ivy. She greeted them with grace, offered drinks, and kept her emotions buried deep. As the party buzzed around them, Ivy's best friend from college, Kendra, discreetly set up the projector. Ivy had asked her to help without revealing what she planned to show. At 10:30 p.m., Ivy clinked her glass. "Thank you all for coming. I just wanted to share something that's been heavy on my heart." and then she pressed play. The screen lit up with a simple slide. "Loyalty, love, and lies," gasps echoed as the footage began. First, text messages from Sierra talking about flirting to test Chase. Then a screen recording of Sierra's late-night message to Chase, "Can we talk?" Then finally the photo, Sierra on Chase's couch in his hoodie, her hair damp from the shower. The room fell into stunned silence. People glanced around uncomfortably. Sierra stood frozen, her face draining of color. Chase muttered something under his breath and stormed toward the projector. Ivy blocked him. "It's too late to stop it. You ambushed us," Chase growled. "No," Ivy said, her voice calm but sharp. "I exposed you." Sierra tried to speak, but Ivy raised her hand. "Don't, just don't." Tears welled in Sierra's eyes. She fled the apartment, shoulders trembling. Chase followed her out without saying another word. The guests didn't know whether to stay or leave, but one thing was clear. The truth had detonated, and Ivy, she didn't cry. The next day, Ivy's phone buzzed with messages. Some were supportive, some were stunned. Others called her brave or cold, but she didn't care. Sierra sent several messages. Ivy didn't open a single one. Chase called twice, then stopped trying. Ivy took the week off work, not to hide, but to breathe, to reclaim herself. For years she had been the loyal girlfriend, the trusting friend, the girl who ignored the signs because love made her blind. Now she was something else. She journaled. She painted. She jogged until her lungs ached. For the first time in years she thought only about herself. She had lost them both, but in a strange way she had finally found herself. Sierra, meanwhile, was drowning in shame. Her reputation took a hit overnight. Friends ghosted her. Chase didn't talk to her after the party. Her own sister called her disgusting. She tried to call Ivy again, no response. She walked past Ivy's apartment twice but never knocked. Inside, Sierra was unraveling. Not because of guilt, she had already faced that, but because she realized something terrible. She had fallen for someone who never truly saw her. Chase had liked the game, the thrill. But once it was over, so was his interest. Sierra had betrayed her best friend for someone who never even planned to stay. She lay awake night after night asking herself if a moment of attention was worth a lifetime of regret. Chase was angry at first, angry at Ivy for trapping him, angry at Sierra for not warning him. But anger slowly gave way to something else, loneliness. He texted Ivy again, nothing. He went on dating apps, nothing clicked. People whispered when he walked into work. One barista even asked him, "Dude, is that video real?" He said nothing. Chase had thought he was the victim of a cruel trick, but now, replaying it all in his mind, he realized he had made a choice too. 1,000 little choices that led to one devastating truth. He had failed the loyalty test, and the girl who truly loved him, she was never coming back. 2 weeks later, Sierra wrote Ivy a letter. She didn't mail it. It read, "Ivy, there's no way to apologize for what I did. I didn't just cross a line, I shattered it. I don't expect forgiveness, I don't even deserve your time, but you should know that nothing about it felt good after you walked away. I thought I was helping. Then I thought I was falling in love. But in the end, I was just selfish, and I lost the best friend I ever had. If you ever want to scream at me, throw things, or tell me you hate me, I'll show up. But if you never want to see me again, I'll understand. I hope you're healing, and I hope you never stop glowing. Sierra." She folded it carefully and placed it in a shoebox under her bed, where all regrets go. Spring arrived. Ivy stood on her balcony, the wind brushing through her curls. Her heart still hurt, but it no longer bled. She had cut off Sierra and Chase not out of revenge, but out of survival. She needed peace, and that meant leaving the wreckage behind. One afternoon, while walking past a bookstore, she bumped into someone new, Daniel, a kind-eyed artist with a quiet laugh. They talked about poetry, then coffee, then life. It wasn't love, not yet, but it wasn't a game either, and that was enough. On her birthday, Ivy received a small package with no return address. Inside was a necklace, a silver star, the same one she and Sierra had worn back in high school. There was no note. Ivy stared at it for a long time. Then she placed it in a drawer next to an old photo of them both laughing in the sun. Some memories didn't need to be worn anymore. But they didn't need to be destroyed either. She closed the drawer gently, her past tucked away, her future just beginning. What started as a simple test of loyalty became the moment that shattered illusions, revealed hidden truths, and taught Ivy the most painful lesson of all. Sometimes the people closest to you are the ones who can hurt you the most. But pain isn't the end, it's the beginning of clarity. Ivy had been a girl who needed proof, who tested others because she feared not being enough. Now she was a woman who trusted herself first, and that made all the difference. If this story moved you, taught you something, or reminded you how strong one heart can be, don't forget to subscribe for more powerful stories every week.